live in Chemung County, that difference has that you got to contact the state, and it's quite a handful. But the numbers that you see given out by the county, those are confirmed tests of folks that we know live in Chemung County. So right now we've been able to hold the peak down pretty good at 37. I hope it goes no higher. Hospital beds, we're okay right now. We're okay with ventilators right now. But that also depends on what Cuomo does as far as taking ventilators from upstate hospitals. So we're working on that as well. So if you want to see this sheet that's up right there, twice a day, it comes out on the county's website at ChemungCountyNewYork.gov. You can download it and take a look at it. It's also on our Facebook page. I think the next slide is our emergency, talks about our emergency operations center. So we have opened our emergency operations center over on the south side. They're fully operational right now. There's a hotline number that's staffed, and basically what they're doing is they're keeping track of all the property inventory that we have, from the mask, whether they're surgical or the normal, from the gowns, the aprons, the face shields, the test kits, all that has to be inventoried. And then as somebody requests 100 masks, obviously that comes off the inventory. And then we have to deal with the state every day to let them know what our numbers are as far as what we have in inventory. Basically right now, the state has been giving out inventory based on the number of cases you have in your county. So thank goodness we only have 39 confirmed cases. But as we all know, the epicenter is in New York City. So that's where a lot of the resources are going right now. So if a municipality in upstate New York was to have a big spike or a cluster of cases, hopefully we would see the state run the resources there. So that's kind of what they're doing right now. The resources are going to where they're immediately needed. So do we have what we need for right now? We do, but that again is because we have a low number of cases. So we keep an eye on that twice a day and look at the numbers. I meet with my public health director. He gives me an update on any issues we have throughout the county. So I started my morning this morning, for an example. I was at the Mark Twain golf course and the, what's our golf course up on 352 Willow Creek? So we got complaints yesterday that people weren't abiding by the social distancing. So I took a ride up there to let both the course managers know that the governor's office is serious about the social distancing. And if they're not going to keep it, then we'll have to close the course down. So, you know, they both said they'd work as hard as they could to make it happen. But obviously, this is a team effort throughout the whole community. Since the governor decided to keep state-owned golf courses open, which Soaring Eagles, for example, it really wasn't fair for him to say that other courses couldn't open. But he's also made it clear that if people aren't going to abide by the social distancing, then he'll close all the golf courses. So we're hoping that doesn't happen. But, you know, a lot of these folks that golf haven't seen each other, you know, in weeks or months because, you know, they just golf together. So everybody's excited to talk to each other and see what's going on. But, well, you have to do it from that distance, because if this social distancing is actually what's keeping the numbers down so we don't hit the peak, then we want to stick with it. And I know it's tough. People are cooped up. They got cabin fever. Kids want to get out. And that was another issue over the weekend. Basketball courts through all the municipalities and school districts. You know, we asked the sheriff and EPD to give us a hand and go by the parks and make sure that the kids and adults aren't grouping up. I think the next slide might be pause enforcement, it's called. The governor's established what's called Pause Enforcement Task Force. So now there is a hotline number and there is an email address, and basically anybody can say, you know what, I know that this company is not essential, yet they're making their workers work, or they're on this job site, and then it gets investigated by the county executive or by the sheriff. Same thing with the golf course. That's how we got those complaints. So these complaints are all taken in Albany, then they're dished out to the respective counties, and then we investigate them. And the Attorney General's office, New York State Attorney General's office, will assist any municipality that needs a hand. So our goal isn't to go out and write tickets or fine people, but to get the social distancing to work, we have to abide by, the rules that were set forth. And it's tough. I mean, a lot of the small businesses are closed. Restaurants, obviously takeout only. But, a couple of companies and businesses that really aren't essential are still out there operating. And that's what causes the problem for the governor to want to crack down. So he's serious about this pause enforcement task force, and he's been working on that. And he's got all the municipalities on board. So we're hoping that obviously we don't have to fine anybody. And it's a $1,000 fine. If you're a restaurant, you can lose your food permit. You can lose your liquor license. So, these folks have a lot to lose. So we're hoping that they're all abiding by the rules that were set forth. I think our next slide is maybe the financial impact. Obviously, right now, it's a public safety. What we're working on is public safety to make sure that we have as few cases as possible. But it's going to turn. It's going to pivot soon within the next couple of weeks, and then it's going to turn into the financial impact, and it's going to be devastating. We're going to have small businesses that aren't going to be able to afford to reopen. We're going to have businesses, that weren't able to make whether it's their monthly payment to have the business, whether it's light and gas, water bill, food services. I mean, it's going to be tough for a lot of businesses. So we've started what's called the Business Recovery Unit, and we have the IDA and STAG and the Chamber of Commerce. They're all working together in hopes to show all these businesses the state and federal resources that are being made available to help them, I guess you could call it, bridge the gap. So, I mean, there's a lot of work to be done there. We have a survey out on our Business Recovery Unit website, and really what that does is it asks a series of questions so that these organizations, the IDA and Chemung County and the Chamber of Commerce, can really prioritize what the need is going to be out there for. So is it for employees that you're having to pay that aren't working right now, or employees that you had to lay off? I mean, it's going to be, the financial impact is going to be incredible, not only throughout the country and the state, but right here in Chemung County. We've already axed some of the things that were in our budget we're not going to be able to afford. I received the sales tax information for the last couple of weeks this morning, and obviously that's down. Our hotel motel tax is significantly down because nobody's staying in hotels. So, and this all trickles down. I mean, so that means it's going to financially impact the towns, the villages, the city of Elmira. So when you talk about tightening your belts over the next couple of weeks, that's a couple months and probably years, that's going to happen. We had some ramifications from the budget that was passed by the governor. Our county sales tax will continue to be utilized for AIM payments. And what AIM payments are, that's aid to municipalities. So that will come from the sales tax revenue. We're also going to have to set up a fund, the governor's office has, of $150 million for distressed hospitals throughout the state. So I believe $100 million will come from New York City. The other $50 million will come from counties outside of New York City, but that's going to come directly out of the sales tax revenue as well. So that's going to cause a revenue shortfall for our county sales tax projections. He also advised that counties should prepare for a 15% across the board reduction in state reimbursed programs if the state's revenue projections fall short. So if the state's revenue projections don't meet what they are, the governor's got to find that money somewhere, and that could come from different programs throughout the state that the counties bring to the public. So the budget, the county budget and the state budget are really going to be in flux throughout the year and try and make them balance the best we can. The governor was also given the authority to amend the budget on a quarterly basis without legislative approval. So, I mean, he's going to be tweaking the budget to make ends meet as we go along month to month. So that's kind of some of the highlights on how it's going to directly impact our county budget. Decision-making factors involving distribution of sales tax. So every 2 years, the county comes up with a formula of how we're going to distribute sales tax, share sales tax with our municipalities. So right now, I mean, that's going to be tough too. We're going to have to come up with a plan for 2021 and 2022. We'll be formulating that plan over the next couple months, but obviously what's going to impact it is what the sales tax look like over the next 2 quarters. I'm going to be asking each municipality throughout the county to complete a questionnaire. We're going to want to know what that municipality has done for their part to deal with, the financial crisis. So for instance, if we end up, not backfilling positions at the county, if I say, you know what, we're not going to be able to afford that 10-wheel dump truck this year. I mean, those are sacrifices we're making on the county level. We need to make sure that each municipality on the local level is making those same type of sacrifices. So we're going to send that questionnaire out, and then we'll see what the availability of federal funding is. I mean, they've passed a couple. We're expecting a 4th one to trickle down, but we don't know how that actually helps the coffers of the county or the local municipalities. So there'll be a lot of decision-making factors involving how we're going to distribute sales tax going forward in 2021 and 2022. The next slide basically depicts, it's a sliding scale of what our 2019 sales tax revenues are. What they were. So you can see that there in the left column. It's probably kind of small on some of your computers. But then there's a percentage scale that goes from, I think, 4% to maybe 12%. And you can tell what the loss would be. So for instance, if you take Chemung County, it's at the top right under municipalities. Actual 45,000,007. If there's a 4% decrease in that number, it'd be 1.7 million, 5%, 2.2 million. So, I mean, we're utilizing this scale to kind of judge how much of a shortfall we're going to be in sales tax. We shared this information with the local municipalities so they can plan as well. So they know, you know what, if we're going to face a 7% decrease in sales tax revenue based on last year's amounts, this is what we're going to be without. So everybody has a proper chance to plan. We don't want anybody to be caught short saying, well, I didn't know I wasn't going to get that $85,000 because of the sales tax revenue. So that's being worked on. We have a weekly meeting with all the municipalities, are invited. It's a WebEx conference call. We keep them up to date with the types of information I'm sharing with you, as well as sales tax information and so forth. Because again, we don't want anybody caught behind not knowing actually what's going on. I believe the next slide we talked about a little bit. It's the Business Recovery Unit. We launched it last week, and it's a combined effort with Chamber of Commerce and Chemung County and STAG and the IDA. And not only are we doing the surveys, we're doing a reach out to all the businesses to answer the survey so we can see what their immediate needs are and, again, prioritize what our efforts are going to be. I think one of the things we are looking at is possibly a loan program between these entities where small businesses could apply for small loans to gap them over until they get, aid from the state or federal government. And then miscellaneous, some of the things going on are obviously schools are big. We're waiting to see if the schools go back. There's been talk of a summer semester. I see the Regents was canceled as of yesterday. One of the things, we have summer cohesion programs through the Youth Bureau here at Chemung County. So we utilize a lot of the school properties for the program. So as soon as they get a direction, we'll be able to get a direction as to whether or not summer cohesion will take place. We don't know how long this social distancing is going to last. We're hoping by the summer that it's over with. Touched on parks real quick. Again, parks and golf courses. We want people to go out and get exercise and go for a walk and so forth, but unfortunately we don't want them together in groups, and it's just natural for people to want to get together and see how each other are doing and so forth. But again, we have to recognize the social distancing policy, especially if that's what they believe has worked in areas like New York City, to flatten that curve. Emergency Operations Center supplies, I think we touched on. We have employees categorized essential versus non-essential, just like the governor does businesses, non-essential versus essential. So if you're a non-essential employee, 50% of non-essential employees in municipalities have to be working from home. The problem is some people can't do their jobs from home. For instance, if you're a school crossing guard, you can't do that job from home. So, I mean, some of the jobs, just by their mere job description, you can't do those jobs at home. So we are paying people at home with nothing to do right now. So we're working on how long we can afford to do that and what other plans there are we can come up with to keep everybody busy. But other than that, that's kind of a quick overview of where we're at from a county level and what we're doing on a daily basis. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions if you have any.
I have a question. Can Chris hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. How can you make sure your business is on that list of business recovery that you're reaching out to?
Yep. So if you go to the county's website, chemungcountyny.gov, right on the home page, you'll see Business Recovery Unit. If you click on that, you can take the survey, and that'll get all your information. Somebody will be reaching out to you from STAG or the IDA to get some more information.
I don't know if anybody's aware or has tried to go on to the Department of Labor to file for unemployment insurance. It's
a mess.
Impossible.
Yeah, it is. The system was overloaded last week.
Yeah.
We had a meeting with the governor's office. They're trying to fix it, but the system just wasn't built to take the type of activity it's been getting lately.
Yeah. Not only that, it's using antiquated browsers. So it's a mess.
Right.
And so their technology isn't even up to date with what it should be so people can access the website.
And I know they are aware of that, what they're going to do about it. I don't know personally, but I'm hoping they're working on it, because that's a major concern that we get all day long, either via email or phone calls and so forth.
Hey, Chris, this is Joe
Yes.
Kozan.
Yes.
Are non-essential businesses including landscape companies and things of that nature?
Landscaping
or are
companies,
they
they've been deemed essential. So landscaping companies have been deemed essential, so they can be out doing their thing.
Oh, sorry, Chris, this is Dick Dubois.
Yes.
Of the 39 people that have tested positive, how many of those are hospitalized?
So out of our positives, we currently have 6 people hospitalized.
It's not bad.
It's not bad, but I mean, you take into account, look, the more we test, the more positives we're going to find. So one of the things, members, we're in a relatively small area in upstate New York. I guarantee you, if we've given 540 to date. If we give another 540, we'd at least have those 39 additional confirmed cases. So I think the more tests we give, the more positives we're going to find. Remember, people's systems react differently to the virus. Some have very few symptoms or light symptoms, all the way to the other end of the extreme. They can put you in the hospital. So it really depends on, but 540 tests for a county of 87 plus really isn't a lot of tests that have been administered.
87. Yeah.
I would just say from firsthand experience, and not because Chris is on here, but the county has done a great job letting us, my wife, just before the meeting, the nurse called and we have to take our temperature, I think twice a day. They've called numerous times. They've dropped off our packages and has been in touch with her. Even just going to get tested, we had to go over to Southport and we were able to get in, or not get in. We had to stay in our car actually, and they came out and tested us. But the process, that's helped us as well.
Well, Pete Pizzetti is our health director, public health director, and right at the end of January, beginning of February, we jumped right on this. We were watching some of the data in China and so forth, and we had a couple of meetings. Say, boy, are we prepared if this should happen here? Let's make sure we go through our pandemic plan, our emergency response plan. So before it even started getting busy in New York City, we had put a lot of the pieces in place to be ready. So, all the credit goes to the health department, to the emergency management office, deputy executive. Everybody really stepped up and done a great job. So I'm very pleased with them. But it's a daily task, trying not to forget something and make sure that we're getting back to the people and then investigating these trace investigations. So if somebody has a positive, there's a lot of work conducted to try and figure out where they've been in the last 14 days. Who did they come in contact with? Who did they shop with? So, I mean, it's a task, but they've done a great job. So we're hoping that the end will be seen soon.
Oh, you're writing down where you go?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't today.
Excellent.
Anybody have any more questions? Chris, thank you very much. It's really been very informative, and I appreciate it. I know you're extremely busy right now. We appreciate you taking the time to speak to us today.
No, you know what? Thank you for having me. Make sure everybody stays safe. Please watch your social distancing. And hopefully by this summer, we'll get things back to normal.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
All right. Katie has joined us about 5 minutes into Chris's presentation, and I started the recording about 1 minute late for Chris's presentation, so it'll still be on the website or the Facebook page soon. Hi, Katie.
That's Tom Brown.
Tom, can you take the PowerPoint down?
Yes.
I want to, I apologize. At the beginning of the meeting, I didn't introduce Bridget Stewart, who I invited to the meeting. Bridget is our assistant governor, and she sent an email out about 15 minutes before the meeting, so I invited her. So she's here. I don't know if she, well, I know she doesn't have visual. I don't know if she has, can you hear us, Bridget?
She's not muted. Bridget?
She said she may have difficulty with that, but she thought she would be able to hear. And she's been on since the beginning. So anyway, welcome, Bridget. Okay, let's go ahead with our inductions. Katie's here now. Welcome, Katie. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
Carol, do you want to go ahead and do the inductions?
Sure, I'd be happy to. As you're aware, we're doing a virtual induction of Katie Boland and Tanya McGee. And I'm sure this is a first for the Rotary Club of Elmira. And I'm going to make this very brief. It is the duty of our Rotary Club to extend our usefulness and influence as a club, but also extend the spirit of Rotary throughout our community. And today we welcome to our ranks Katie Boland and Tanya McGee. And Tom's put up their pictures. Very good. Good job, Tom.
Thank you.
A brief bio on Katie. She's from Hilton Head, South Carolina, and went to EFA. She attended the Schiller International University in Strasbourg, France, and is the former owner of Horrigan's. And she currently is employed by Elmira Downtown Development. And Tanya is a native of Elmira, the youngest of 3 children. She holds a Bachelor of Arts History from the University of Buffalo, a Master of Urban and Regional Planning, and a Certificate of Urban Policy from the University at Albany, and is currently enrolled in the Public Affairs Doctoral Program at Binghamton University. She currently works as an associate planner for the Chemung County Planning Department. In her free time, she enjoys cooking, running, reading, traveling, and spending time with friends and family. Katie and Tanya, I challenge you both to exemplify Rotary's motto, service above self, and judge yourself by the Rotary 4-way test in the things you say and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? My fellow Rotarians, Elmira Rotarians, please join me in welcoming our newest members, Katie Boland and Tanya McGee.
Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome.
Whose desk lamp are we looking at?
Let's see. Is there a name
Oh,
on
it's
that?
John Goldman's
John.
desk lamp. He looks like,
Oop. There we go.
Who is that?
it was John Goldman, but now he's gone.
Oh, and there's a Robert Barnes. And
That's
Maggie's
Maggie.
That's Maggie.
kitchen.
oh, okay. Of course.
I haven't figured out how to prop up the iPad yet, so we just go off video.
And there's Randy's kitchen.
See, I only have 9 pictures, so I suspect if I use my laptop, I'd be okay.
If you swipe left or right, you might be able to see more, Carol.
Oh, yes. Yes.
We're all muted.
All right.
Well, most people self-muted because I unmuted everyone, so some people turn their own mics off. I think
Yeah, I see Judy.
Carl's dog is chasing a squirrel or something.
Hello.
Where did our leader go?
He's right there.
I've been talking away and I just realized I'm muted.
Yeah.
I'm the only one muted.
I didn't do
Oh,
that,
I'm here.
Dick. You did that yourself. I unmuted all.
I'm sorry. I didn't. Well, I've got my.
Didn't do it to him, Tom? No, now he's.
All right, now I unmuted myself. So anyway, thank you all for attending today. That was really nice to hear from Chris and give us a we are planning, as I understand. Thank you, Bridget. Bridget just clapped at us. As I understand, J.D. Isles is going to be speaking next week. That's correct.
That is
Okay.
confirmed.
Good.
Yes.
And he's going to be talking about hidden landmarks of Elmira. JD's an interesting character, and I think it'll be a fun program. So I hope you can all join us.
Right, right.
One other thing is I am going to try to convene a Zoom meeting of the Charitable Fund Board of Directors within the next day or two. So all of you that are here, that are on the Charitable Fund, you will hear from me. We need to make a decision soon about
Oh, there's a baby.
funding.
Sorry, I'm here, Jody. Sorry.
That's nice, Jody.
Here.
That's okay. It's a nice little sound.
Yes.
We need to make a decision and hopefully get approval to spend the money for the historical sign as part of the district, a simplified grant. I'd like to get that done soon, so I'll be contacting everybody about that soon. That's all I have. Does anybody else have anything else?
Oh, there's that
Oh,
baby.
wow.
Oh,
Jody
Hey, Jody
Ann.
Ann.
so
Oh my
cute.
God.
Judy, you want to introduce your guest?
Oh, my goodness.
Jody Ann, will you introduce your guest? Oh, we
Oh,
can't hear you.
She's muted.
Hold on, let me unmute her. I can unmute her. Let's see. All right, Jody Ann, I unmuted you.
Yes, okay. This is Elena.
Oh,
Adorable.
Leah?
Oh, my goodness.
Can you say
She's a
hello?
good baby.
She is a great baby.
She's
Woo-hoo.
adorable.
She's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
We need to see her every week.
Yes, as soon as this pandemic is over.
No, she's our virtual mascot for
Never
now.
to see her even like this.
Yes.
This is awesome.
There.
See?
Thank you so much for sharing her with us.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Okay, anybody else have anything else for any other information for the club?
Not today.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just officially ding the bell.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all for coming, and